You know, there's a peculiar human tendency to domesticate the disruptive. We see a wildfire on the horizon, and our first instinct isn't always to run, but to wonder if we can harness it to toast marshmallows. For years, AI in the workplace felt a bit like that, a distant, theoretical heat. We debated its potential, its ethics, its far-off implications. But the smoke? It's here. The landscape isn't just being warmed, it's actively being reshaped, and the conversations have shifted from what if to what now and how fast. Welcome back to AI Replaced Me. It's May 31st, 2025, and I'm your host, Koby Ofek. This is episode 4, where we're diving deep into the very real, very current, and rapidly accelerating ways AI is not just knocking on the door of the job market, but in many cases, already redecorating the office. Let's start with a number that should send a jolt through anyone who's ever written a line of code, or managed someone who does. The Financial Times recently highlighted a rather stunning admission from Microsoft. A full 30% of their code is now being generated by AI. Think about that. Microsoft, a company that for decades defined software development. Now, a third of its foundational building blocks are being laid by algorithms. This isn't some far-flung projection. It's happening now, and the ripple effects are immediate. The same FT report notes that job postings for developers are at a 5-year low. 5 years. That predates a lot of the recent AI hype. This isn't just about AI handling the grunt work, the boilerplate stuff. We're seeing AI tackle increasingly complex coding tasks. The very nature of what it means to be a software developer is morphing before our eyes, shifting from pure code creation to managing, guiding, and refining AI-driven development processes. And it's not just Microsoft. Duolingo, the language learning app, a company literally built on automating instruction, is also reportedly restructuring its workforce, leaning more heavily on AI. If a company whose entire model is based on sophisticated automation feels the need to further streamline with AI, what does that signal for other industries? It tells us we've moved decisively from experimentation to execution. Companies are deploying AI at scale, and that has tangible human consequences. Now, the immediate thought is often about entry-level roles, and yes, AI is particularly adept at many tasks traditionally assigned to junior developers. If AI can write, debug, and even document significant chunks of code, the traditional career ladder for software engineers starts to look a bit wobbly at the bottom rungs. This isn't to say developers are going extinct, far from it, but remember the shift from manual typesetting to digital publishing? The printing press didn't eliminate writers or editors, but it fundamentally changed the skills required. AI is doing something similar to software development. The demand is shifting towards those who can architect systems that leverage AI, who can prompt and guide these powerful tools, and who possess the critical thinking to oversee AI-generated output. The flip side, of course, is the AI skills gold rush. The FT also reported that roughly 25% of tech job postings in the US now require AI knowledge. Sounds like a clear path, right? Retrain, reskill, ride the wave. But it's not that simple. What exactly are AI skills? Are we talking PhD-level machine learning expertise, or a working familiarity with AI platforms? The goalposts are constantly moving. Skills learned today might be partially obsolete tomorrow. It's less a gold rush, and more like trying to pan for gold in a rapidly flowing river during an earthquake. And let's not forget a crucial detail often buried in the optimistic reports: the AI project failure rate. Some studies estimate it to be as high as 80%. Companies are making significant staffing decisions based on the promise of AI, even when the reality of successful implementation is far from certain. It's a high-stakes gamble, and the chips are often people's careers. If the coding world is feeling the tremors, the broader white-collar landscape is bracing for a potential seismic shock. Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, the company behind the Claude AI models, isn't known for idle fear-mongering. Yet he recently warned that advanced AI like their latest iterations could trigger an overnight mass displacement of white-collar jobs. He's not talking about a gradual evolution. He's talking about a sudden paradigm shift, particularly for roles that involve complex task execution and even coding. His concern is that companies, driven by undeniable ROI, won't just slow hiring. They'll actively replace existing employees with AI systems that can perform the work of multiple specialists, 24/7, with fewer errors. Imagine Claude 4 or its successors, not just assisting, but autonomously handling tasks previously done by project managers, financial analysts, and yes, even more software engineers. This isn't just one CEO's anxiety. An Axios report from earlier this month stated it bluntly. Ready or not, AI is starting to replace people. The focus? Entry-level positions. In sectors like finance, law, and consulting, roles traditionally seen as the bedrock of career progression, heavy on data processing, analysis, and report generation. These are precisely the areas where current AI models excel. Anthropic's own CEO, Amodei, has speculated that AI could displace up to 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs within the next 5 years, potentially pushing unemployment into the 10 to 20% range. These are numbers that demand attention. We're seeing this play out in real time. Consider Business Insider, which recently announced it's slashing its workforce by roughly 21%. The stated reasons? A challenging combination of declining web traffic and, crucially, the rise of AI tools like ChatGPT being used for news consumption. CEO Barbara Peng acknowledged that even with higher revenue per visit, the sheer drop in traffic, as people turn to AI for quick summaries, is unsustainable for their old model. This is the convenience tax in action. Readers opting for the frictionless experience of AI, and media companies paying the price in audience and consequently jobs. The roles being hit? Likely lower-level reporting, SEO specialists, and perhaps even some editorial functions. The historical counter-argument, often trotted out by economists, is that technological revolutions, like the PC or the internet, ultimately create more jobs than they destroy. Sam Altman of OpenAI often points to this, but Amodei's fear, and one that resonates with the current pace of AI development, is that this transition will be far more compressed. Past shifts played out over decades, allowing for gradual adaptation. AI's impact feels more like a flash flood than a slowly rising tide. The reskilling narrative also wears thin under this accelerated pressure. It's not enough to learn to code anymore. Now, you need to learn to code with AI, understand machine learning, data science, and the ethical implications. It's a steep, continuous learning curve. And as the Oxford Economics study showing a rise in unemployment among recent college graduates suggests, even those with fresh degrees are finding the entry gates to the job market increasingly guarded by AI. All right, let's catch our breath with a few rapid-fire updates from the front lines, our future forward flashes.
Oh my goodness! Time for future forward flashes!
Flash 1. Remember that UNCTAD report we discussed a while back, suggesting AI could impact 40% of jobs globally? The key word was impacted, not eliminated. But the report also highlighted a glaring AI governance gap, with 118 countries, mostly in the global south, largely absent from major AI policy discussions. This isn't just about fairness. It's about risking biased algorithms and an uneven distribution of AI's benefits, potentially creating a new digital divide. Flash 2. The healthcare sector continues to be a fascinating case study. The Axios Future of Health Summit painted a picture of AI not as a job replacer, but as a crucial pressure release valve. With stats like healthcare providers needing a hypothetical 26-hour day to meet preventive care requirements, AI handling administrative tasks, scheduling, insurance pre-approvals, follow-ups is seen as a lifeline. Ambient AI, working unobtrusively in the background, is the buzzword, aiming to reduce burnout and free up professionals for actual patient care. Even if the hard data on workload reduction is mixed, as MITRE's chief medical advisor noted, the perceived reduction is improving morale. Flash 3, the token tax idea, floated as a way to redistribute the immense wealth generated by AI, is gaining some traction in discussions, at least conceptually. The notion is that companies benefiting massively from AI-driven productivity would contribute to a fund for displaced workers and retraining. It's a complex proposal, fraught with questions about implementation, but its presence in serious conversations signals a growing awareness of the potential societal fallout. Flash 4. Speaking of displacement, the Challenger, Gray, and Christmas report from just this month, May 2025, noted that AI was directly cited for nearly 4,000 layoffs in May alone. That's 5% of all job cuts. It's a quiet, steady drumbeat of AI-related job losses, particularly in white-collar roles, that often gets lost beneath the hype of new model releases. So we have AI writing code, AI streamlining industries, AI potentially displacing swathes of entry-level and even mid-level white-collar jobs. It's easy to feel a sense of inevitability, perhaps even helplessness. But that's precisely the mindset we need to challenge. The narrative isn't just about what AI can do, it's about what we do in response. The critical insight from all these developments isn't that humans are becoming obsolete, but that the definition of valuable human work is evolving at an unprecedented rate. Think about the human advantage. What are the skills that AI, for all its power, still struggles to replicate? Critical thinking, genuine creativity, complex problem solving in novel situations, emotional intelligence, ethical judgment, and the ability to communicate and collaborate with nuance. AI can generate 1,000 marketing slogans, but can it truly understand a customer's unspoken needs or build a long-term relationship based on trust? AI can analyze 1 million data points, but can it ask the truly insightful, game-changing question that no one thought to ask? The path forward isn't about competing with AI on its terms. Processing speed, data recall. That's a losing game. It's about cultivating these uniquely human skills. It's about learning to work with AI, to leverage it as a powerful tool, but to always be the strategic mind, the ethical compass, the creative spark. The companies and individuals who thrive will be those who embrace this constant beta mode we've talked about before. Lifelong learning isn't a buzzword. It's a survival mechanism. Resilience isn't a soft skill, it's a core competency. And what about those lost entry-level jobs? This is where societal adaptation becomes crucial. We need to rethink education and vocational training. Perhaps apprenticeships, where young professionals learn alongside seasoned experts and AI tools, become more prevalent. Perhaps we need to focus on project-based learning that emphasizes those uniquely human skills from day one. The comparison to the dot-com bubble is often made with the optimistic view that disruption leads to innovation and net job creation. But this time feels different. The dot-com boom was about a new platform, the internet, creating entirely new industries. AI, in many of its current applications, is about automating existing processes with ruthless efficiency. While new roles will undoubtedly emerge, AI ethicist, prompt engineer, AI trainer. The question of whether they will emerge fast enough and be accessible enough to offset the displacement remains open. The real challenge, and perhaps the opportunity, lies in not just reacting to AI, but in proactively shaping its integration. This involves difficult conversations about policy, about social safety nets, about the very structure of our economies. It's about ensuring that the incredible efficiencies and wealth generated by AI don't just accrue to a select few, but benefit society as a whole. So, what ties together the story of AI writing 30% of Microsoft's code, the stark warnings about white-collar job displacement, and the quiet persistent creep of automation into thousands of roles each month? It's the undeniable story of acceleration. The theoretical future of AI in the workplace has arrived, and it's moving faster than many anticipated. This isn't a single event, it's a cascade of interconnected shifts. The convenience tax is real, as users opt for AI-driven solutions, impacting industries like media. The AI skills tax is real, as proficiency with these new tools becomes a prerequisite for many roles. And the human skills premium is also becoming increasingly real, as capabilities like critical thinking, creativity, and complex problem-solving become the differentiating factors in an AI-augmented world. The key takeaway isn't to panic, but to pay very close attention. The ground is shifting, and understanding the new contours of the landscape is the first step towards navigating it successfully. It's about recognizing that adaptation isn't a one-time fix, but an ongoing process. That's the kind of proactive strategic thinking I explore in my book, Keep Your Day Job: How to AI-Proof Your Career. It's about understanding these trends and building a resilient, adaptable career strategy. You can find it on Amazon and wherever good books are sold. Thanks for tuning into AI Replaced Me. Join me next week as we continue to dissect the ways AI is and isn't rewriting the rules of work.